up, guys?
Use your mic.
Oh yeah, I'm getting used to this. But what's up, guys? Welcome back to another chat or another podcast.
Our second podcast. We are talking a little bit about. Okay, like, should we redo it?
No, it's fine.
Okay,
You just didn't tell me anything.
maybe.
Okay, today we're talking about, moving in with your partner, and just kind of how it is, and some of the good, the bad. I mean, it hasn't been bad, but
No, yeah, no. Yeah, we're just kind of piggybacking off of our first podcast and talking about how our experience has been moving in together. So far, so good. We've been living together for it's about to be a year. Um, yeah, it's about to be a year. So, what do you think about um like the roles that we should be playing?
in what sense?
Like when we moved in together, did you feel like I should have been, or like if there were specific roles for like the woman or for the man to do? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I
Like,
think
do you
when we
believe in that?
no, and I think we come from a background where it is very common, right? We're both Hispanic. We come from a
Yeah.
Mexican culture where in some households, right, it's still seen where the woman still, she's a housewife, right,
Right.
and the man, goes out and works and kind of provides,
Right, exactly.
but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because like in the Hispanic culture, it's definitely still like that. And like moving in together, like I had in my head implemented stuff that like the woman was supposed to take charge of and like what the man was supposed to take charge of in the house. But I think like before you have that or before you move in, you have to have that conversation with your partner. Because in this generation, it's nothing like that anymore, which is
yeah, well, I mean, there's, it's a case by case, but I think with us it was different because I had already been living alone or with my cousin,
yeah.
right, for 2 years, and right, so like, I mean, I would clean up for myself. I
Mhm.
would do things for myself, like I would cook, right?
I got lucky.
No, well, I mean, even though sometimes I would, be eating cereal for
For dinner.
dinner back in my
Yeah.
broke
Broke
college
college.
days, but
I remember when we first started like dating, I would like, you know how you ask your partner like, "Oh, like did you eat today?" Like when you don't live together yet. Like, "What did you eat today? Have you ate?" Like just worrying after them. And he would say, "Yeah, like I ate pasta," or I would eat like just like real food. And then it's not till like we moved in together where he told me that he was actually like lying about that because he would actually be eating cereal for dinner literally. But yeah, those were the days.
well, I mean, sometimes, not every night.
I mean,
Yeah, I would tell her, because if I said cereal, she'd be like, "Oh my god, why didn't you cook?" Or, and I
he
was,
didn't want to hear
yeah, in
it.
those days, I was just, I was working, I was caught up in homework with school. It was,
Yeah,
it was a lot,
no, for sure.
but no, coming into this, I never, and I told her, I never expected her to, pick up after me or do my laundry
Hmm.
and I don't know. It's been a very natural thing,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I think you coming over a lot helped,
Hmm.
kinda. There were times where my cousin would be away and you know um gave us a or yeah gave us a chance for like for Cassandra to come for a longer period of time,
Yeah,
right? Just because of we wanted to respect everybody's time.
exactly.
But when like I remember you coming for a week and we kind of got a sense of how it would be, and I mean
Yeah,
it went good, yeah.
we were yeah, we got that whole week to kind of just see what it would be like. Um we cooked that week. We were like together every night, and it just really gave us like a sense of what it would feel like. Um, but yeah, once you do live with your partner, things completely change because you're with them 24/7, you know? So it's like you don't have to pick up after them, but sometimes it's like you love them and you're like, "Oh, like I'll just do this." Like it's very natural like how you said, or like when it comes to like washing dishes or things like that, we'll like switch off, or we'll be like, "Oh, like it's your turn," or like someone will just do them. But it's never like, "Oh, she's the girl, she has to do this because she's the woman of the house and that's what she's supposed to be doing." Like it's never been like that.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, it's always been, if there's dishes there and she's busy with the lash client or something, I'll go ahead and do it. And likewise, right, if I have a long day, she'll take care of.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter really who cooked or anything.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, we never sat. Gee, that's so funny.
Doesn't matter who cooks.
Okay, she cooks more
I'm
than
just
me.
kidding.
To be fair, yeah, yeah.
To be fair,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
But no, 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 I don't mind. I don't mind it. I feel like genuinely like I do have, well, I used to get out of work earlier too, so I would have more time to come home and like cook. But we only cook what, like twice a week, three times a week, if even. We're trying to be better about it.
Yeah, we fall into
It's a habit.
a bad habit of eating out and or just door dashing and
Yeah. It's just so easy. But it's so bad because we do order our groceries every week and we try to plan out like, oh, we're going to have chicken this week, but it's never like really planned out exactly what we're going to eat. We just kind of wing it the day of. So yeah, I think that's just something we need to get better on, because also like, I mean, it's like 50-50. I feel like nowadays um buying groceries is just as much as eating out, could be just as much as eating out, you know?
yeah, I mean it just depends on what you're eating, where your habits are. But even in that, right? Like we used or maybe went to, like I would always go to the grocery when I lived alone.
Mhm.
And now, like Cassandra and I think either Sunday or Mondays are designated day to Instacart.
Yeah, we
Right, every Sunday, Monday, we Instacart groceries for the week, and that's kind of the routine.
yeah, we in the beginning we did go to the grocery store,
Probably like the first
but it was
day
like,
we moved.
yeah, it was like the first week we moved in and we went all out. And I think ever since then, like we were like, we really have to watch our spending, because when you're at the grocery store, like, especially if you go hungry, you're gonna be wanting like everything there. Um, so like it's so much easier for us to Instacart it. It saves us time and money, honestly. And sometimes like they'll bring like the wrong thing, which is a little bit annoying, but for the most part, Instacart has really saved us a lot of time and money.
Yeah, I like to think so.
We like to think of it that way, at least.
But yeah, I mean, to not get so off
Oh
track.
yeah, we're a little.
I think Cassandra and I are very similar, and from the beginning, I think that's why we kind of got along. We're kind of very laid back, I'd say.
Yeah, we
Right,
are.
like it's like neither one of us is like. I think we're just like I don't want to say the right amount, but we're the same amount of like being a neat freak,
Yeah.
right? And then right, neither one of us is dirty,
Mhm.
right? It just kind of fits, right? Like ever
Yeah,
since we moved in
thankfully.
together, exactly, and that's not always the case.
Right. Yeah, cuz I mean moving in at first, like both of us had our like, we are just a little nervous because we were like, we didn't really truly know how our like cleaning habits were, but you just kind of learn about your person as you go through time. But thankfully, like, yeah, me and him are very similar in that sense, where we're not super dirty, and if it is dirty in the house, I think we both just like in our brain like feel it, and we don't even have to like communicate, let's clean, we just start cleaning. It's so weird. Like it can be late at night and we just decide to deep clean everything.
Yeah.
And it's like that's just how it is. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, very natural. Um, the I wanted to ask, so like when we were moving to it, did anyone like any one of your friends or anything, um, say like you were too young or anything?
Um Not like friends, but so I do hair and I have like clients and some of them are like older and some of them were like a little bit judgy about it and they're like, "Oh, like already?" In that type of sense when you can just feel the vibe off of people. Um but again, like that also goes back to like our traditions and like what it's like now versus how it was back then. And a lot of people don't recognize that the times have changed. Why? Because like, were people saying
No,
that to you or?
I was just thinking. I feel like even um, not even in that sense, like older people,
Mm-hmm.
but I think alright, because to be fair, we hadn't even been dating for a year,
Mm-hmm.
right, when we decided to move in together. Now we're going on to 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
but even now, it's been a year and a half since we've been dating, and we decided to take this big jump.
Mm-hmm.
And not that people have, but it's like you said, like people when you talk about it with people,
Mm-hmm.
when
When they're with
like
it or when they're not with it.
exactly like you're talking to someone and you're telling them, oh yeah, like I recently moved in with my girlfriend, and then they'll be like, oh, how old are you? And then
Yeah.
like in my case, right? Oh, I'm about to be 24. Oh, how long have you guys been dating? Oh, we're barely going on into 2 years. It's been a year
Mm-hmm.
and a half. And it's like their eyes, like their facial expressions, right? And then it's like, oh, good for you, right? Like very, I don't want to say fake, but
But fake. I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
I mean, like you can tell that right, they obviously have different thoughts on it. But I feel like anyone in this situation, and I mentioned it in the last podcast,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like even parents,
Yeah.
right? Like you really have to get to an age where you just stop caring what people think, right? And I
Right.
think I think that's what has helped us in our relationship a lot, to be honest.
No, for sure. And like another big thing is, um, like our parents are very religious and like a lot of people in our religion like they believe we need to be married to be living together and we agree. But I feel like in our lifeline in our time, I I just feel like there's no timeline on how you should be doing things if they're going to get done anyways. Um Financially, it's just the type of steps that we are deciding to take. But I don't think there should be a pressure on you have to be married first and then you can move in together and then you can start having kids and blah 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 blah. Like we will get there, but also like how do you know you're going to want to marry a person if you've never lived with them? Like that's my thought process too, cuz like you can go over like you can um share no not share but like you can kind of see what a person is living like without living with them, but once you start living with them it's a whole different story, so
Exactly.
you really want to know their habits and like how how they are at home.
Yeah, and I think something, because a lot of people will move in together, but they'll rent. I think the fact that we bought,
Yeah.
it's a huge investment that we just did. We're both on the house. We got it together.
Mhm.
Um, so it's definitely a big investment, and so I think there is a, whether you're renting, right, where things fall off,
Mhm.
then hey, like we go to the end of the lease or whatever, right?
Right.
After that, like each one goes our way. With the house,
It's a bigger
it's a bigger
commitment
risk,
for
bigger
sure.
commitment, right? But yeah, thankfully, Cassandra and I have always been on the same page,
Mm-hmm.
goal wise, future wise. I think we get along very well, and like I said, anyone looking, like when
Yeah, I was literally gonna say
a,
that.
a lot of people say it, but like if and just go for it. To
No,
be honest,
yeah.
like if I had to give anyone advice, it's to go for it. And if you're not sure, right, that like when like if you've been with the person for 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
right, and the topic of moving in together,
Hasn't come up.
well, not that it hasn't come up, but maybe it like it makes you think, or like,
Yeah, like
I don't know.
contemplate it.
At that
Then you
point,
shouldn't be with that person.
I don't know, because not everyone, personal space is a huge
But
thing
you
in
don't.
relationships, and I've heard people say like, I've heard people say, I don't know if I need personal space, like I need to have it.
Right. Which is understandable, but also in a relationship, when you're living with a person, you don't get personal space. Obviously, like we respect our space, but we don't like in I don't know how to explain it. We just
Well, that too, and I think we spoke about this when we moved in together as well,
yeah.
right? Because I still play soccer. Cassandra, still does her things.
My hobbies.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
but
yeah,
no, no,
like
but we were very
everyone.
clear to right. Obviously, we're living together, and there has to be like an agreement where you respect each other's time, but also value each other's time,
Mhm.
right? Like if right, like I still go practice,
Yeah.
right? Like if I want to go out with friends, like like that still happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that I think in every relationship still has to happen,
Mhm.
just so that things keep
Yeah.
going smoothly.
Just because like you're in a relationship doesn't mean that you need to stop doing things that you enjoy and that you were doing before the relationship in a healthy way, you know? But no, yeah, like that whole space thing, like I get it and I respect it, but also you need to understand like when you're living with someone, your partner, you're literally sharing everything. Like there's no getting out of that. Like you're going to share a bed, hopefully, like and I've heard of couples actually like having a room for each person, which I find really weird.
What do you mean?
Like they each have their own room.
On these,
Oh, they'll like sleep separately. But in some cases it's cuz like their partner will like snore a lot or like they just need their personal space like you said. But or just their personal space to put things. Um which isn't like as weird if you need like another room to put your own things and then like your boyfriend has his own things and that's different, but like I think the whole like sleeping thing is like a whole other topic.
oh yeah, I mean, I've never heard of that, but I
No?
mean that's yeah, I mean that would be weird.
Yeah, like imagine like just being like okay, good night. You're like siblings, like what?
No.
Like it's not I don't know. But
Yeah, but and then also like when right, someone once told me, right, when you decide to be with someone, like you're not just deciding to be with them, like how
no, yeah, you're accepting to be with like their whole family,
you're accepting like their family, like their lifestyle,
their work, their career, like
everything,
everything. Yeah.
right? So like right, like when she decided to be with me, right, she decided to be with soccer, with my family, with my friends,
Mhm.
right? All of that,
And vice versa, yeah.
right? If that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because right, like before I met her, I had friends, right? I had soccer, my family,
Mhm.
right? When I met her, she already had her right?
Their own
Obviously,
things, right? Yeah. So like always keep that in mind like um especially when you move in together, the whole thing comes together, you know? Not just the person, everyone. So yeah, you really have to talk with your partner, communicate about those things and be open to everything that comes your way. And then if something doesn't feel right, then you need to communicate that with your partner.
What do you think like the biggest challenge has been of moving in together?
The biggest challenge? Um, I don't know. Let me think about that. Do you have one off the top of your head?
Nah, I just thought it was a good question.
um, uh, I don't know. It hasn't been a
I think.
challenge to like live
Well,
with
yeah,
you.
exactly.
Like that's the thing.
Well, not like not a challenge, but I don't know. Like something that comes to mind to me is you have to be willing to, and this isn't a challenge, right?
Just don't finish that sentence. I'm
No,
just
no,
kidding.
but in every relationship, you have to be willing to make sacrifices, right?
Yeah, the sacrifice.
And it doesn't have to be like huge or anything, but it comes to a point where like like your partner has to come first,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's not even that you're I don't know how to say it in English, but
Say it in Spanish.
like a mandilon, you know.
No.
It's never that, right? It comes to a point, and all the guys, growing up, it was like for me, like you never want to be called that, or your friends call you that, right? But like I said, I go back to letting go of other people's thoughts and really embracing like
What you're trying to build with your partner.
and this because it ends up being like this bubble that you and your partner live in,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there's my family, there's her family, right? There's close friends, but then that's really it, right? Other opinions, right? Right, you take the good and the bad goes in through one ear, goes out the other type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. um but what I mean by that is like like what comes to mind, like when we bought Luna. um I think that at that time I really didn't really want to get a dog.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
Let's talk about that.
you know what I mean?
um. So I always have grown up with pets. Like had a I had like a Chihuahua from when I was like 5 to when I was 8, and then I got another dog, and she's still our family dog. So like I've always just grown up with a pet in my home. And Juan hasn't. Like he had never had any pets. Like maybe I think you had a fish at one point. You didn't
No,
even have a fish.
nothing.
Nothing. So it's like he had no idea um like how to even treat a pet or like what the point was until we got Luna. So getting Luna was my idea. Like purely my idea. It was for our 1 year,
Yeah, 1 year.
for our 1 year. And like I had just been looking for puppies, and I had told him cuz when we both moved in, we kind of agreed that we weren't going to get any pets until later on, but a year in I was like, "Oh, like what if we get a dog?"
Well, yeah, a year into a relationship, but a few months into living
Getting a
together,
house.
right?
Yeah.
So,
So
and in my head, I was like we just bought this super expensive couch, and then she was looking at puppies, right? Like we got Luna 3 months,
yeah, she was 8 weeks. She was 2
8
months.
weeks. Yeah,
She was literally a baby, and she still
right. Like
is.
yeah, like she's barely like she's gonna be a year in October. Like she's still months old, and
Yeah.
so I knew that right. We had to train her. I knew there were gonna be accidents,
Hmm.
right? And
And
I
to
like
be fair, sorry,
yeah, no, go
I
for it.
had never had like a puppy. Like all of the dogs we had gotten were already trained, or they were just like older. So I had no idea how to train a dog either. And granted, we're still working on that. Like we're still in that process. Um, but yeah, like I had started looking for puppies, and I was like, what if we get this one? Or like, this one's cute. And he was like,
Yeah, no, it was literally so spontaneous.
Yeah.
We went to breakfast that morning on our anniversary, and we're eating, and Cassandra's looking for puppies.
Hmm.
She finds one on Facebook Marketplace,
Yeah.
right? And then because like she had told
Not
me
Facebook Marketplace.
no,
Well, it was Facebook, but Facebook Marketplace isn't for like pets. Just
wait,
like a
like
what
a
is a
breeder.
breeder? Yeah.
Well, she found her on Facebook,
Yeah.
but right, and she had brought it up, and I would always kind of like push it off or kind of not pay attention. Then it would pass. But this time, she was she would show me pictures, and I don't know what came over me, and in that moment, I was like, okay, like tell her. And in my head, I was like, like if it's not meant to happen, like the lady will say, like no, or whatever it is, will like come in the way, and we won't get it. But if it's meant to be, then
Then it's meant to be. Well, before that, I had gotten scammed by another lady on
that
Facebook.
too.
And that was like $200 down the drain because she wanted a deposit and I should have known better. It's a whole story. We don't have to get into it, but
Yeah, but that morning, I said, yeah, Cassandra. The next thing I know, hey, in an hour and a half or in an hour, let's meet at this Target nearby.
literally right by where we were having breakfast, which was
Yeah, and
such a
then
coincidence. Like
the
what?
next thing I know, we're at Petco buying leash and food and
We
all this.
literally came up with her name at Petco.
Oh yeah, because we had to buy a tag,
We had to buy a tag and I was like, "Oh, like what? I don't know what to name her, but we need to get her a tag." Um and
and
it
then
just like we both agreed on
well,
it.
you have that tattoo on your ankle,
Oh yeah, I have a moon on my ankle. Um
and then I think I saw it, and I don't know. I was just like, let's call her
Luna?
Luna. Yeah, but we met the lady, and then we got her, and then from there, you do fall in love, and now I love having Luna, and
Yeah.
I love having a pet, and it really brings it really brings
More to the
yeah
home.
more to your home and love and
Yeah, for sure. And she's like our baby. Like she's our daughter and we absolutely love her. But few those first few months of having her were both like the best but also worst months we could have ever experienced. Um because like we had all this new furniture and like she had sharp teeth and she was teething and she still we still have to train her on like not having to bite things, not as much now. She's getting a lot better, do you think?
yeah.
um but she definitely had her fair share of ruining stuff, and not sleeping at night. Oh my gosh, I remember we I didn't sleep very well those first few
Yeah,
months.
I was like,
She would cry like a baby. And I didn't know that puppies didn't sleep through the whole night. I had no idea that it would be that bad because we would try like crate training her and that wasn't working. So I would like have to come down here and like hug her and then we would go to sleep, but she would keep waking up and she was just like the tiniest little thing. Like you can't get mad at her.
yeah.
But
All right, but going back to right because we got way off track. But it can be from purchasing a dog to the smallest thing. Like me hanging up the jersey.
oh
Right.
yeah.
So I played college soccer 2 years.
Oh my
Right.
god.
Junior college. When I graduated, you know, so my coach decided to give me the jerseys. They were getting new ones the following year. He said you can take both home and away kits. Right. I had them framed in Mexico, like huge frames, right? Like the whole thing, and I had them signed with like my stats those years and everything, and they just mean a lot to me because the fact that I played college for me, it's a big accomplishment,
Mhm.
right? But then right we come back to
The
like
cat.
Cassandra, right? Like the house had to be very aesthetic, right? Even that, right? Like if you ever decide to move in together,
Yeah.
it's, like, what do you want your house to look like?
Yeah.
And I think more times than not, the girl is gonna
I mean,
decide,
look at this.
right? Like,
Look at
right,
this
like
place.
not saying that it has to be that way, but for me, I was like, I think you have good taste. Let's just go with it. The
Yeah.
thing was that I was the one um
Well, the
put
thing is,
putting together the chairs and the table, and
happy wife, happy life.
but now like even when that, right, and it goes back to both of us being very laid back,
Mhm.
right, to where, right, like, oh, right, like, I think we should paint, right, like, as I was like, we should paint the chimney white.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go for it.
Do you not like it?
No, yeah, I do.
Okay.
But right, like, if I suggested something, like, we were talking about it, it was never.
It was never
And
like
there's
an
people that are like complete
argument.
opposites.
Yeah. No, yeah, I will agree on. I mean, unless you're a man with like really good interior designer taste, like I think the girl kind of knows what flows more than men do sometimes. I'm like walking on eggshells. But
No,
go ahead.
nah, I was just gonna go back to the shirts.
But yeah, those shirts,
They were just too big, right? And
they were
and
big frames.
and I got it, so we compromised.
Yeah.
We put them in smaller frames, and now they're upstairs, and
They look
and,
nice.
and they look nice. Yeah,
They
I
look
like
really
it.
nice. But yeah, at first, like he wanted to put them like down here in the living room or like in our room, and I was like, I don't know. But we found like the perfect wall for them, and they're not hiding or anything like that either. So I don't want you to think that I'm not proud of you. So yeah, it all comes down to like those little tiny things that you'll kind of come about. But if it's never too big of an issue here with us for anything. So I think we've gotten pretty lucky with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much time we
I
might
think we
have.
should wrap it up.
But yeah, I think one last thing, and I think it's very important is valuing you and your partner's time, like,
Hmm.
together, right? Because, right, to be fair, living together um can become like a routine,
Yeah.
right? Like going to sleep together, waking up, right? Like you kind of know what's going on every day,
Hmm.
right? Like, oh, okay, like this morning she has to wake up earlier than me, go to work, come back. It can become a very, like,
The
routine,
same thing.
right?
Yeah.
So that's why,
It's like a loop sometimes.
right, and that's what, in the long term, like, that's why a lot of relationships, I feel like, don't work,
Hmm.
right? Like the relationship becomes kind of, like, you're just going through the motions,
Hmm.
right? And I think,
And that's like with life too. Can get
yeah,
very
yeah,
easy.
yeah, and I agree. So, but I think, making time for you guys, making sure you guys still go out,
Hmm.
even though, right, like, you already live together,
Right.
but something as simple as, hey, like, I know we've been working a lot, but tonight, like, let's just make time to put our phones down, watch a movie,
Hmm.
right? Like, leave everything aside. Hey, like, this weekend, let's actually go out and.
Yeah. I think like I saw this thing where it's like when you move in together, you are spending unintentional time together. Um, so that's where you have to like involve what is it called? Um, oh, what did I just say?
Activities?
No, 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 no. So like yeah, you're spending unintentional time together, but that's why you have to start creating intentional time together. To do things to go on date nights and stuff like that because like he said like it can be very repetitive. So, yeah, definitely making sure you're making time for that and even the smallest things like I don't know, playing a board game together or just like you said watching a movie can make the biggest difference and you just feel like you had that quality time together versus like him being on the couch on his phone on this side and me on being on this side with my phone like we're not even talking or even spending any time together. So,
Yeah, that's huge, and um, yeah, I think we'll wrap it up with that.
mhm.
I'm sure, you know there's a lot of little things that
we could still talk about.
Yeah, that we could still talk about. Um, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to.
Yes.
Uh,
Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
yeah, but yeah, we'll close it out with that, and
Yeah.
thank you again for watching.
Yes, and we'll see you guys on Friday.